I've sewn a knit pattern twice. It can be a top or a dress. I have one of each. One of these is my birthday dress, so it's a super special make. I'm super excited to share it with you. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, and today is a special day. Today is my 46th birthday. Years keep ticking along and I'm just grateful I'm gaining all these years and all this experience. I started this sewing channel when I just turned 38 years old, so do the math. I've been here quite a while and I plan to be here for a very long time. I'm still loving this and I'm grateful for your support. This is a special day. I gifted myself a dress. I've actually just finished sewing it. The top version of this pattern I've sewn last night, so that was my practice run, and also when I filmed the tutorial, because there's a little twist here, a little twist going on right here that I found was really pretty. So birthday dress. I'm going to show you the top first though, and what I'm talking about is the Linda top and dress from Sinclair Patterns. This is one that was released last year at the beginning of the year. I think it's about a year old, and I don't know what planet I was in that I missed the release, and I just didn't even know it was there. But I did see it recently and I really wanted to sew it, so here I am. This can be either a top or a dress. It can also be a peplum top where the skirt piece can be short or the skirt piece can be longer and then it's a dress. So there would be a waist seam there or not a waist seam if you're doing the top. It's all within the same pattern pieces though, you just cut different cut lines there. The neckline looks like a wider V neckline. It's not deep at all, and what's special there is that twist that you see. I love that. I had a good time looking at all the tester photos because you can really see the twist happening there. You can see it better on fabric than you can see with the line knot. So I really got convinced I wanted to sew this because I just thought it looked so pretty. The neckline is what makes it, and I love how it was designed. The way it's sewn is really clever. On the inside, that neckline is finished with knit binding. For armholes, there's a separate cut line for sleeveless if you want to finish that with binding. Otherwise, there's lots of sleeve options. There's a short sleeve, then a short sleeve, 3/4 long. And this armhole would be compatible with some knit sleeve packs that Sinclair Patterns has. They've designed whole packs of sleeves that would fit. So then there would be a whole bunch. I will show you some line out here if you want to add on sleeves. There's so many more options there if you have those sleeve packs. It's really hot here and I'm just living the sleeveless life. Occasionally you might see me sew some sleeves, of course, but at this point it's really hot. So I've made both my top and my dress sleeveless. If you want to make just the top, you have different lengths. It can be at the hip. You can have a hemband as well. You can make it longer. For the dress, it can be either a peplum or a dress. The skirt is A-lined, and if you want to make the dress, you have the option of adding inseam pockets there. You know, I never do that. It's just not my jam. I do have excellent videos on how to sew inseam pockets though. I just don't enjoy them in my sewing, especially with knit projects. Not my jam. But if they are your jam, it's there in the pattern. If you look at Sinclair Patterns website, the main one I'm showing you right here, you'll see specials. If you click there, you see that some patterns are on sale for a week or a little bit less, a little bit more. But the Linda dress is on sale right now. I did ask the designer until when it's on sale. She told me it was the 2nd of March. So there's still quite a few days to grab it for less. You can see the discounted price right there. You don't need any special code, nothing like that. I'll leave you my affiliate link at the top of the comment section, pinned, super easy for you to find. Also in the description box. If you do click on my affiliate link and you end up purchasing, you don't pay anything extra. It's just that is tracked and I get a small commission back from the designer. That is one way that you can support the work that I do here on YouTube, where you get to watch helpful sewing content. So if you do use my link, I'm super grateful. You need light to medium weight knit fabric that stretches 30 to 50%, both horizontally and vertically. This is important because it's a fitted bodice, it's a fitted top. You want to be able to get into your garment. So if your knit doesn't stretch vertically, I would just discard and not use that. You want fabrics that don't have a lot of bulk or structure, because then the twist could get really bulky and it won't look nice. So fabrics that are going to work are ITY, double brush poly, single brush poly, rayon spandex, bamboo spandex, modal spandex, maybe a rib knit if it's lightweight, maybe a French terry if it's lightweight. I would say cotton lycra, even if it's lightweight, I think it's just structured for it to look nice. So I wouldn't really want to use that. That's my opinion. You know, you can test and see. And a good athletic knit would be okay. And I think swim works perfectly for both of my versions. I've used a lightweight swim and it's beautiful. no drama there. I wouldn't use Ponte Roma, Liverpool, like double knits, heavy fabrics. It just won't look good. It won't feel good. So just stay away from the very heavy ones. I'm going to show you how much my swim fabric stretches. It's quite stretchy. I've just laid it here against my cutting mat. I'm going to stretch 4 inches. If I'm easily able to get to 6, it means it stretches 50%, which is what I'm happy with. And you can see easily goes even more than that. It's got a nice amount of vertical stretch as well. I'd say a little bit less than 50, maybe 30 to 40. So this is going to work for this design. Sizing goes from 0 to 30 US up to a 63-inch hip circumference. As you know, if you've sewn Sinclair before, height files, golden, the best thing ever. Petite, regular, tall, find what your height is, choose that file, and then go ahead and look at your circumferences and plot your measurements there. As you see here, I'm mainly a size 14 right now, so that's what I'm sewing. Very good fit. I'm very happy. I'm using the tall file. If you notice also, there's progressive cup sizes. So the smaller the size, the smaller the cup size. Starts with a B and then goes all the way down to an E. For my size, there's a CD cup size drafted. So that's perfect for me because I'm a C cup. About the ease, whether you're sewing just the top or the dress where you'd have a bodice, there's 2 inches of negative ease here at the full bust. So that keeps it nice and fitted. It keeps the neckline nice and close. Similar to this Dakota dress, same from Sinclair, also has 2 inches of negative ease. Fits perfect. But then if you're going to sew the top, you're going to have a wider pattern piece. You're going to have around 3 inches of ease around the waist. If you're sewing the dress, because it's fitted, you'll just have 2 inches. And then at the hips for the top, it's around 2.5 inches of ease. At the hips for the dress, it'll be around 4 to 6 inches of ease. So just make sure you look. It's a little bit of a different fit if you're sewing the top or the dress, obviously, because the bodice has to be more fitted and then the skirt comes afterwards. Just measuring the skirt length pieces. The only change I made to this dress was to make my skirt 2 inches shorter. I didn't want my skirt to end up mid-knee or around that area. I like it just at the knee. Personal preference, it's always something you can change. It's always something I double check, especially because I'm always working with small amounts of fabric. It can make a huge difference. For sewing, we're using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. It's quite a simple construction. Don't think that twist there is really hard. It comes right at the end of the construction almost, and it's so easy. I repeated it several times so you can see how it's done. So let's see how to put this together, focusing on that neckline and that twist. These are the pattern pieces for the Linda top from Sinclair Patterns. Not many pieces here. I am going to make the sleeveless version. So if you want sleeves, you have a sleeve piece. This armhole here is in the narrower cut line for the sleeveless version. The back is on the fold. The front is not on the fold, and there's a particular shape over there. This is the actual neckline right here, and then this is going to be part of the twist. That is the binding for the neckline. That is the binding for the armholes. I'm also going to make a dress version. The difference there is that the bodice is going to be shorter and it's going to be a skirt piece. But we're going to focus on the construction of the neckline here because that is the most fun part. First step is to align the shoulder seams and get them sewn. Now, if I was working with a sweater knit, for example, and I was going to have a long sleeve, I would stabilize the shoulders. The seam allowance for this pattern is a 1/4 inch, so I'm being careful with the serger to not trim much away. Now that the shoulder seams are done, we can sew on the neckline binding. I've made a little red mark in the center back. The other reference is the shoulder seam. And then halfway along this neckline, we have a little dash that's on the pattern. So it makes it easy for you to line up your binding to your neckline when you have all those marks. So here's the center back of the binding that I'm going to match to the center back of the neckline. Then the next mark on the binding is going to match the shoulder seams. Of course, this binding is a little shorter than the neckline, so it brings it in close to the body. Then the next mark on the binding is right there, and that will match the one on the neckline. And then the end will match the edge right here. I'm going to do the same on the other side of the binding. Once I've got everything pinned, I'm going to start sewing this, and I'm going to do it with a sewing machine. I'm using a 1/4 inch presser foot because it's just so much easier to do it with a presser foot. The seam allowance is a 1/4 inch, and I can do a narrow zigzag with this presser foot. It does fit in there if you use shallow settings, so it's not a big zigzag. I'm going to be turning this binding into the wrong side of the garment. So I'm going to snip all around this neckline. It's very rounded all the way around. That is one of the reasons I like doing this with the sewing machine instead of doing it with a serger. With the serger, you get the 1/4 inch seam allowance, but then you can't go ahead and snip into it. And then when you fold the binding to the inside, it might give you much more tension than this will. Now I'm going to understitch this binding. So I've put the seam allowance right underneath the binding and I'm going to edge stitch. I'm using an adjustable blind hem presser foot that helps me sew on the edge, and I can keep my narrow zigzag here just the same. It'll almost look like a straight stitch, but it'll allow stretch. Now that we've done the understitching, now we're going to fold this to the inside, but we want to fold that little bit right there and then fold it like this. So on the inside, it's going to look nice and narrow. So I'm going to take my time to fold this really nicely. I'm going to pin it all the way around. I'm going to give it a quick hand baste, and then I'm going to top stitch that down. For top stitching, I'm also going to be using the shallow zigzag like I've been using everywhere because, you know, this is a fitted bodice. So we're going to be pulling it on over our head. So we want all the stitches that we use to be stretch stitches. Once we get this sewn and pressed, it's going to look super neat here. What I've done next is sew the side seams. If you were doing a version with sleeves and you like sewing your sleeves on the flat, then you sew in your sleeve on the flat. Then you sew one seam that includes the sleeve and the side seam. But mine is sleeveless, so I just went ahead and sewed my side seams. It would be exactly the same thing I would do if I was sewing sleeves because I like sewing my sleeves in on the round even with knits. You can see there's a straight shape, then it goes out a little in a slant. So all this section here, we need to leave it alone, all of this, but we need to serge from this area down to the bottom because this is a seam that we're going to sew and then press open. This is the top area of the neckline, so we don't want to touch that. You can see that slanted shape. We want to serge from here down. So I find it easier to start here because you can regulate where you put the fabric through and you can start serging there rather than starting at the bottom and hoping for the best over here. It's hard to control the serge and where you're going to finish serging. So when I have my serger like this, I can really regulate and put the presser foot down where I would really want to start. On the pattern piece, you're going to see a little line. So I've marked that line there. That's where we're going to start sewing. So I'm going to reinforce and sew all the way down 3/8 seam allowance. We stopped sewing at a certain point and then we have fabric up here that we just have to fold back like this. So this is going to be like a little slit. So because I have slippery fabric, I'm going to pin this and I'm going to hand baste it before I top stitch it. So what we need to do is just top stitch like this, down, across, and then way back up so that this is fixed in place. Okay, now comes the exciting part where we do the twist. We've got the little slit sewn there. That's all ready. For your neckline to turn out the same as mine, just follow what I'm doing it like this, like you would be looking down. So on your right hand, we're going to take this side. We're going to leave this one on the left side. That's the one we're going to sew on at the end. But first, we're going to do twists. So you can see the neckline there. We're going to twist it. And then we're going to twist it like that. So it's 2 twists. Let me repeat that. So just hold this slit like that. Just take this like that, twist it like this. So it's going to look exactly like that. And now we're going to take this and align it to this neckline right sides together. So we're going to have binding there and binding there. And then along this area, we're going to just get all this twisty bit out of the way and align these 2 raw edges. So what you're going to end up having is
the top of the slit area right here. See, this is where the slits finished on the top. That's going to end up right sides together. And this is what we're going to sew to create the twist. So it's just one little seam that we have left to do. So let me repeat. So take this neckline, the one on your right hand, hold this, fold it once like this, bring it again, and then bring it forward. So it's basically 2 twists. And then align this to that right there. Once we sew this seam, it'll all make sense. You have 2 raw edges, just keep matching them up until you get to the end where the top of the slit area was. So there and there. And then this is the little seam that we're going to sew now. I'm going to do it with the sewing machine, narrow zigzag like everywhere else. And then this will totally make sense. So this is the seam that we need to sew now. Remember, we've done this twist twice on this side, on the right side. This side hasn't been twisted at all. This is going to make way more sense when it's on the body, but basically through this slit that we had there, you're going to have this fabric going over the neckline like this, but not on this side. So it's supposed to look like that. Once you wear it, it's going to look amazing. Don't worry about finishing these seams we've just done with the serger. It's all in the twist. You can't even see it. Plus it's a knit, it's not going to fray. So that's how it's going to be. Now, this does not have much hanger appeal. It definitely looks better on the body. It looks a little bit messy, especially because swim fabric doesn't press that well. But here is my top. This is a little bit left over I had from making a pair of shorts, swim fabric. So it's going to be super versatile. I'll be able to wear it for sporty things or not sporty things. I think the print is super nice. It's like paint going down in turquoise and navy. So nice. There is the binding, understitching, top stitch looks really nice on the inside. And here on the armholes, I did a different type of binding, just personal preference to have more coverage as well. This is the type of binding that you sew right sides together and then you just wrap over the seam allowance and then stitch and ditch. It's so neat because you can't see any stitching and it leaves the armhole as per the original. You don't lose seam allowance folding it to the inside like the typical binding would. So that's what I did there. And there is the neckline. You can see on this side, the fabric is going over like that. And on this side, the binding is normal. There's a little slit right here. That's where all the twist happened. Center front seam right there. Regular side seams. Very nice. Now, this is the hip length that was supposed to have a hemband underneath. So if you did that as per the pattern, your top would be longer. But let's be honest, I didn't have enough fabric. So I just did not use the hemband and just did a small hem allowance here, about 1/2 inch instead. And I think it's still a nice length at the high hip for me. It's going to be super versatile. And this is lovely. This is how the twist looks inside. It looks very strange, but believe me, when you put it on, it looks amazing. There is that center front seam where the seam is pressed open and my hem. So that's how it looks like on the inside. It's super lovely. I've styled it 4 ways so you can see. This is my Linda top from Sinclair Patterns. This is a swim fabric. Mine is a little shorter just because I had less fabric. It's at the high hip. Actually, at this length, you would sew on a hemband if you want, only I did not have fabric for that. I've paired it with a skirt here. This is a sky skirt, also from Sinclair Patterns. I think this is a really nice outfit. Not too casual, not too dressed up. And I think the length and the fit is perfect here. I love the colors in this swim fabric. It's so nice. Here's a look at the neckline. You can see that on one side, the fabric is sort of going inside the neckline. And then through a slit, there's a little twist. It's a really clever construction. And I think you can see it more with this top than with the dress. Otherwise, it's a very nice fitted top and I really like it. It's fitted, but not that fitted. Look at that. There's a little slit there and there's fabric coming out of one side. It's not hard. I filmed it for you so you can see and you can do it as well. Really clever. I really love how that neckline looks. Because this top is at the high hip and semi-fitted, I can wear it with wide leg bottoms like these. Navy is a great type of bottom to have. It goes with so many things, and this print has some navy in there, so I think this is really cute and another way I could go out with this top. It's gonna serve me so many ways. Love how this looks, and it's super comfortable to wear. Here's another sky skirt, but this time it's a skirt. It's the same pattern that you saw before, only with a variation. It's shorter, it's got pockets, and there's a little short underneath. So this is my gym look. This top, you know, it's a swim athletic knit. I can wear it, I can sweat in it and all that. So I would definitely go out and work out, go weightlifting to the gym in this outfit. And I really love how it looks. It's not too short, it's not too tight. I feel super comfortable. And I'm glad this top can be very versatile like that. Now I had made these little shorts months ago. This is a swim fabric, so in essence I could get wet in this. I could use a sports bra underneath and a swim brief under there and just get wet, be in a wet place and be dry in no time. So I think this looks really cute. I don't think you need to tuck it in because the top doesn't have that much volume, so I'm just wearing it on its own. It's at the high hip. I don't think it interferes with the volume of the shorts, which are a type of swing style. So yeah, I think this is super cute and I love having the set. I'm glad I had a little bit left over. I knew there was a top coming at some point when I made those shorts, and I'm glad it's materialized now. I think this is super adorable.
Now, my birthday dress, I had a hard time finding a fabric that I loved, and that I had enough of because I have so many athletic needs and all that in 1 meter cuts, which is fine just to make a top. But for a dress like this, I probably needed like 1.5 meters. So I found one that I just absolutely love, and it was just the right time to make it. It's black and white, one of my favorite combinations, and I can never go wrong. I absolutely love how this turned out. Check out this swim fabric. I bought it in Chile a couple years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it's so lovely. White on the inside, there is the binding, very neat. Here is the twist. I did it all in the same way. There is a little slit. I did the binding in the same way. It's just that now we have a bodice seam right there. I'm using the toe file and the bodice length hits me perfectly at my waist. At the back bodice has a little curve at the center back, so it has like a sway back already done for you. I mean, it gets rid of that excess at the small of the back. It's very nicely shaped. It's not a rectangle. I love that. And A-line skirt, super easy to sew. Most of this was done on the serger. I'd say this took me about 2 hours to sew, from cutting it to finishing it. Of course, I wasn't filming, you know. So this was a gift for myself on my actual birthday, very early in the morning. And I'm so happy. A gift to myself. It's a great thing. My husband's not here at the moment. He's in another country teaching. And so my yearly fabric shopping spree that he treats me to is put on hold. It's pending for when he comes back. So it'll be like a belated birthday haul when he gets back. So yeah, that makes my birthday a little less special. But let's make it up by making a nice dress. That's how this looks like inside. I think with this one, you can really see everything because it's so white on the inside. So there's that little twist happening there. Bodice seam, all the seams just on the serger. It was so enjoyable. And this is not a basic. It's not a basic, definitely, because of that neckline. It's so pretty. So yeah, let's see this one on. This is my Linda dress from Sinclair Patterns. This is a size 14 toe file. I really love this one. You'll see the detail of the neckline up close. There is a bodice with an A-line skirt sewn onto here, and I've used the swim fabric black and white. My skirt is 2 inches shorter than the original just because I like it this length. And up closer here, you're going to see the bodice seam. This bodice seam is exactly at my waist height right there. As you can see, perfect. I didn't have to do any adjustment. The back seam has some shaping. It's curved, so it's not a rectangle at the back, and it's beautiful at the back. There's no extra fabric. I think the fit is super good. Here's a look at the neckline. It looks like a V type of neckline, slightly rounded. There is a twist feature in there. I have sewn a sleeveless version. But of course, there's sleeves up available if you want to do sleeves. The twist there is very, very fun to sew. It's not hard at all, and I can bend over and not show anything. There's a closer look at the twist. binding finish on the inside. And I promise you that twist was not hard to do. It's one of the last steps that you do with this pattern construction, and it's just very genius the way it was designed. And I'm so grateful for the height files that Sinclair Patterns has. Makes a huge difference, especially because I'm taller and I usually have to add length to things. And this is so beautiful. This was a gift for myself. I'm 46 today. I sewed it on my birthday very early morning, and I'm super happy with my birthday dress. I think it's really pretty and I'm glad I got to sew it. It's not a basic dress. That neckline makes it super special, and the print is a little dizzying, I know, but in person you can really see the twist detail. A dress is an outfit in itself, but because I like to layer in things, here is a sleeveless vest in a tan caramel color, matching shoes and bags. I think it looks really nice. The dress is not bulky, you know, there's no bulk with the skirts, A-lined, and I think it matches beautifully with the silhouette of this sleeveless blazer. So yeah, I love how this looks. It's definitely a way to wear it when I want a little light layer on the top. The lapel is simple, you know, you can still see the beautiful neckline and all the details of the dress underneath this blazer. It's definitely a way that I could wear this. There's many more. You know, with black and white, you can pair any color to it and it'll look amazing. I really love how these turned out. They're super pretty. I love that I'll be able to wear this to the gym and other places. And this one, I can dress it down. I can do whatever I want. They're just so pretty, and I love the neckline so much. If you like a special neckline, then you're going to be super happy. Don't think it's hard. It's not hard. And look, if you just want to experiment and not commit to sewing that seam before seeing how it looks, just hand baste it or pin it and then figure it out and see if you got the twist right. That's exactly what I did when I was sewing this one. I did all the twists. I did the 2 twists. I sewed that little seam with hand basting, fixed it. I even tried it on. I thought, yeah, this is how it goes. Perfect. And then you could commit to actually sewing that little seam at the end. So it's not hard. You'll figure it out. I hope my video helps. Don't forget to grab this super cute pattern while it's on sale. I'm going to go ahead and spend a lot of time editing today on my birthday, but then in the afternoon, there's something special planned with my son. So that's nice. I'm 46. I'm glad. I'm not someone that's getting upset at all about getting older. It's just the best thing, and this is a really good age for me. I'm really enjoying my time on this planet right now. That's all from me. I'll see you soon with more sewing on this channel. Bye.